How's it going? Woodspoon Supercoach here. Round two's in the bag. Got myself another 1300, which I'm pretty happy with. Back-to-back 1300s. It's got me sitting about 23,000th. I thought I'd be a little bit better than that, but plenty of time to skyrocket up the rankings. I can't be bothered to go through every single game, so I'll do you one better. These are all of the relevant Supercoach players from the round. And what we've got is score, break even, and then score minus break even, which is just how much they scored over their break even. So we can see Jesse Arthur's up here, scored 121 over his break even. So this is a really handy table that I'll try and do most weeks. It is a lot of information to update, but it's very handy. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to have a look at it. So these are our bankers. These guys in the green in this D column, the score minus BE. So all of these guys are going to make heaps of money. Jesse Arthurs, Tuipulotu, and Gutherson all scoring a ton over their break even, so they're going to rock it. Everyone's got Toya. A lot of people are looking at Starling. Tamale, it's going to be interesting to see teams lists, whether he is finally going to be able to go into my team or not. Sandon Smith, the worst antipod of the year by me. I might just have to bite the bullet and get him back in for Tom Duffy. That was a big bed shit to start the year. Peter Mamazelis, who started off a little bit lackluster, but he's really picked it up, and now he's scoring 70 points over his break-even, so he should make a good bit of money. Shibasaki, not as good as last week, but he's still got 70-ish over his break-even, so he's still going to make lots of money. Horsburgh, I don't need to go through each of these guys individually, because they're all going to rise roughly the same amount of money, being roughly the same amount of points over the break-even. So if we now filter this the other way, we've got our tankers. Piakura with his 74 under. That's kind of annoying. Let's fix that. 74 under his break even. He's going to hemorrhage cash. KO Weeks as well. Again, shout out to the dude who convinced me to take him out of my team. You are a godsend. So these are the guys that we can look at waiting for them to bottom out and then pick up later on. So Piakura, he is going to go way, way, way down, and we will need to see a role change or just an improvement from him to consider him. But the first piece of the puzzle with him hemorrhaging money and making him nice and cheap for us is panning out, which can be said for all of these guys. Reece Walsh with a very underwhelming score. He actually scored negative in fantasy. So I nearly put Reece Walsh in back when I was deciding whether I was going to go 3-gun fullbacks or a cheapie. And I'm glad I didn't, because now he's going to drop a bit of money over the next few weeks and I'll be able to get him cheaper, which is always nice. Mulatalo, it's just the same every year. Just wait for him to go on a dry streak of tries and then he's a good pickup. Kaloa Matangi is not working out to be the guy we thought he'd be, with the absence of Cameron Murray. Can't recommend him. Same story with Campbell Graham. I wanted to wait and see on him from the start of the year anyway. Coming back from an injury, he's been out of the game for so long, and his scores are kind of reflecting that. I also, just without Latrell in the team, can't see the attacking stats flowing too well for South Sydney. But they have been doing pretty well with Jamie Humphries at halfback there. So, Drinkwater, is anyone really considering any of them? Tedesco's annoying. We want him to bottom out. He's got an 145 BE, so he's still below it, but he's going to... the small amount he drops to is going to probably be around where he's going to stay. So I wasn't really expecting him to drop too much because it is still James Tedesco. It just would have been nice. Casey McLean has recovered from his head knock, but the head knock is still affecting his BE pretty dramatically. It might level out a bit next week, but if you've got him, sure, keep him, but definitely don't buy him. Isaiah Yeo, man. What is this? 39, bro? Oh, it was looking so good for him, and now his first good score is going to drop out, and we've got this 39 in there. Hopefully he bounces back next week. I imagine Penrith will. They don't like losing. So yeah, a bit of a dampener on Isaiah Yeo, who I thought was one of the better picks in my team. He'll still average well. Every player can have a down week. It's fine. Hines and Cleary. So Hines got the kicking back, which is great. He got near that break even, so this should start to stabilize as well for him. And Cleary, same sort of deal. You're not getting these guys in to make money, you're getting them in to score points, and that's what they'll do for you. Oh, and Paddy, starting to cause me pain. Yes, I admit that it wasn't the smartest putting him in, but there wasn't many truly bottom dollar cheapies. And to make my squad structure work, I needed another one, so I had to put Paddy in. Here we go, Tom Trbojevic. So him and Ches are both fine, as per the scans, but I think Ches is a decent chance of playing. Trbojevic, I imagine they're going to stick him on ice and just let him rest. If I was in charge at the club, that's exactly what I'd do. Haven't got him on the screen here, but just while we're on the topic of the Manly players, Hamoli Olakuatu, also with an underwhelming score, very similar to Isaiah Yeo. I will be selling him if DCE is not named. Turbo being out isn't huge for Hamoli. In fact, it actually is a benefit for him. Historically, he's scored better with Turbo out of the team. He gets to step up a bit more. But if Ches is out of the team, then that's really bad for Hamoli. So keep that in mind. Ali Leotawa has made up for a lackluster week last week, so that's good for owners. Fanua Blake going low. It's just what happens when he doesn't get an attacking stat. That's normal. There's Olakuatu there with a 38, so rough. He still scored his BE or just above it, so he's not going to leak cash, which is fine. Purdue, not an immediate sell, but he is an immediate sell if he loses his spot, which is a possibility. So, yeah, keep an eye on him, and we may need to move him on. Bateman is in a few people's sides, scoring slightly over his BE. Decent. Duffy is just he's on the back burner for me. I might switch him to Sandon, but that's just to get Sandon in more than it is to get him out. Ethan Strange, if Luke Metcalf shat the bed this week, I was going to look at flipping to Strange, but I wanted to see how he goes without attacking stats. Turns out not very good. Zach Hosking, I believe, has a broken hand, so outside of that, he was doing really well for people, but can't. He's injured now, so rough. Tuapiki's been really good. If he's got the centre wing duel, I don't mind it as a pod, but I won't be going there myself. James Fisher-Harris, owners will be happy with that. Metcalf, 99 here. He's actually updated to a 117. So that's, that pushes him up into this off-green bracket. So he's actually better than this yellow bracket. And all these guys in the yellow scoring around about their value. And we've already covered the good guys. So I'll leave a link to this in the description if you want to use it. Not every player's in here. In fact, now that I mention it, I don't think I added in the Sunday games, or only some of the Sunday games. So we'll go over to Supercoach for those. So Eels and Tigers. Taruva scoring a couple of tries, getting a big score there. Same with Lockie Galvin. Galvin being more relevant there. I can't imagine too many people have Taruva. Let's have a look. Yeah, 2%. It's a good pod, but I personally wouldn't be going there for almost 600k. Fucking hell. Buller's come back and he looks electric, so that's good to see. He's very fun to watch. Terrell May, just doing what Terrell May does. 87, we love that. He's going to make us a good bit of money. Stafford Toa, mentioned him being a decent cheapie option with a 76. If he keeps this up, he'll be finding his way into our teams if he's going to make a lot of money. And his price changes a bit later as well, because this is his first game, I believe. Dewey doing well. I had him in my team at one point, but just couldn't make it work. Skelton scoring just above his value again. So he'll make a bit of money. He'll get up to 600k pretty easily. I picked Lehigh over him. And Lehigh is scoring slightly worse, but still to his value, and hasn't scored any tries. So I'm just hoping that Manly can sort out this injury crisis and get Lehigh some tries, because he's going to score some tons, I reckon, if he gets 1 or 2 or 3 attacking stats. Sione Fainu, good option, 61, good score, not too much to cover there. Coruscant with a lackluster return. He didn't get the goal kicking back. And I think De Silva actually played some minutes as well, so neither of them are an option. Jack Bird doing exactly what I was worried about, scoring 30s. So he's not going to make money. If he was 200k, sure, but he's almost double that. He's not a cheapie. He's a low-end mid-range. And with 30s, I don't like it. Royce Hunt, I need to get him out of my team eventually. He's not a priority. He's scoring pretty much to his value, so he'll fluctuate in money a little bit, but not really significantly. Jerome Luai with a 19. Fucking hell. That's rough because he's very popular too. 24% of teams. Wow. Glad I missed that one. And then Finu with a pretty lackluster score then. Over at the Eels, Lomax proving his worth in a team that is absolutely shit. He does have an 119 break even though, so definitely wait probably a month or a few weeks if he does well on Lomax. It's a real shame. He was a lot of fun to have in my team last year, but don't think I'll be doing it this year. Penasini, not an option. Samarani. If he locks down this spot, he's got a negative 12 break even and he's bottom dollar. But at the Eels, got a couple of other Eels cheapies not doing so well that we'll get to. Hopgood, bit of a dud to start the year. That really sucks for Hopgood owners because that was a smart pod at the start of the year, but now that we've got data for 2 weeks of the season, not so much. Dylan Brown, lackluster score. Sean Lane, lackluster score, but that's kind of normal for him now. How's Katoga doing? Score into his value. Don't love it. You don't want cheapies score into their value. Iongi, finally, with a bit of a bed shit. He's still got 25 points over his break even, so he's still going to make money. And he's still like massively owned, so I don't think there's too many headaches around Iongi because so many people are keeping him. I don't think I'll be getting him in. I'm looking more at swapping Duffy to Humphreys. I like the look of that. If I can make the money work. And then Volkman, Hands, Tuivati, not options. Moving on to the Bulldogs and the Titans. So Tino comes out with a bang. I mentioned last video I might have to move heaven and earth to get in, but I also want to get Payne Haas in. So maybe if the money's tight, I'll go Tino instead, but that's going to be a head scratcher. So yeah, what's his break even looking like? 5. Bloody hell. How the fuck am I going to have to... If I get both, I'm going to have to sell Olakuatu. So if Cherry Evans doesn't get named, that kind of makes it a little easier for me, but as a Manly fan, I don't want to fucking see that. Khan Pereira, decent score. Bo Fermor has been a nice pick for the last few years now, but no one really seems to go there because he, doesn't have a lot of X factor. He's at the Gold Coast. He's just kind of slept on. 2% owned. I don't mind it, especially now that David Fafita is not rocks or diamonds anymore. He's just fucking rocks as long as he's on the bench. So can't recommend that. Keanu Keeney with a decent score. That's about his value. Just under his value. High break even. Maybe we look at him in a few weeks. All these guys in the middle. How'd the halves go? Campbell well below his value. And Brimson also well below their value. So I still like them as pods, just not yet. Let them bottom out a bit. Let them get a little bit of cohesion. And the Titans can score points. They did 24 against the Bulldogs, who had one of the better defenses last year. That might not be the same story this year, but 24 points can convert to Supercoach quite nicely. So that's all the important players over the weekend. If I missed any, please let me know. Next up, I'm going to show you my trade planner. So this is literally just how I make decisions. I'm a very visual learner, so shit like this helps. So this week, I'm looking at Turbo, Voimonga, and Duffy out for Haas, Pap, and Starling or Sandon. This is probably going to change a million times, but at least I can come back to this and have sort of like a pathway of seeing what those changes are over time so I can remind myself of my thought process, why I do things, why I don't. So here in the considerations, you can see Selhamoli if DCE's out. I think Turbo is going to be a sell anyway, because even if he is fine, he's still going to get some rests towards the end of games that are blowouts. Granted, he could still score 160 in those, so definitely a watch on teams list for him. I wouldn't say it's worth bringing Lehigh in yet. I love the guy and I love watching him, and his base has been pretty good for the first couple of games, without getting any attacking stats. So I like him sitting there. He's not losing me money. He's getting decent points, couple of tries. He'll score a ton. But I don't think everyone should flock to him yet with this Turbo injury news. But if Turbo does get early stints and Lehigh shifts out to the back, then that could be really good for his points. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. I might have to change my fucking YouTube channel to Wait and See Supercoach. I say it 10 times an episode. Yeah, so if Ches isn't named, then Hamoli is a next week decision for me. And that would be an easy swap to Tino or Haas or... Yeah, these ins could shuffle around a lot. I don't actually know if Turbo Boy Manga and Duffy is enough to fund 3 of these guys, but whatever. Anyway, it just helps. You can see here, 11. These are my origin targets, Teddy, Wishart, and Hughes. Again, could change, but I know the path I'm trying to take. Heading in that direction. I've updated this one. So, the team tiers, Storm are clear first, in my opinion, after that performance from the Panthers. I don't think we'd see a performance like that from the Storm. They just got that little bit more polish. Sharks are looking more consistent than the Broncos now. Manly have dropped down a couple of tiers after that performance. It looks like consistency is going to be an issue for us again this year. Standard shit. Bulldogs, I think Manly's still slightly above the Bulldogs, but not enough to change their value. Roosters and Rabbitohs have jumped up quite a bit. I mean, they took out the Panthers, so you got to respect that. And Rabbitohs are looking decent with Humphreys in the side. Raiders, Dargans, Tigers, I think it's pretty fair to sit them all on a similar level. Teams with potential, but we're not really seeing it yet. Then Knights, Warriors, Titans. Realistically, the Knights could probably go up into this yellow section. In fact, I'm going to do that because I think they are better than the Warriors and the Titans. Warriors and Titans. We've only had one look at the Titans, so they could, Manly moved a few spots after a second viewing, so Titans could easily do the same. And then your bottom feeders, Cowboys, Eels, Dolphins. So these are your guys that you're going to want to target in matchups, I think. Now we come over here. We got Supercoach points, we got games, average Supercoach points a game, Supercoach points conceded, and then Supercoach points positive and negative. So if we filter by this one, we now have the best performing Supercoach teams and the worst performing Supercoach teams. So obviously Storm, Panthers, Knights are up here, which is interesting. Broncos, Raiders, Dragons, Sharks, Manly. So this is a very small sample size. We've only had 2 weeks of data, and I'll try to update this every week because the more data we get, the more accurate it'll be. But we can see here that Eels and Cowboys, they're the targeting teams. Dolphins, not as much. I don't think they're leaking a shitload of points. They're just struggling to get wins, whereas Eels and Cowboys are leaking a lot of points. And look at this draw they've got here. Not a hint of green. Yeah. Eels and Cowboys are the targeting matchups, I think. Moving on to the group league. So we've got the leaderboard here. Sniper still on top. Aaron, who was, what was his name? Grand Wizard, I think. He commented 4 bets, got 3, so he just missed out on the multi, but he's still made his way onto the board. Not quite into the top 3, but it's pretty close. Head over here. There you can see he's got his 1074. Prize pool is up over $150 now. I really think that the prize pool is going to get to $1,000 at least, I think. We're getting pretty consistently $10, $20 a week getting added to it. So over 27 weeks, it's going to stack up. So get involved, join the league. There's the code. It's on the desk as well. Just before we go, who topped the league? Stoner's Tie. Sitting on 2744, so he must have had a fucking pretty good week last week. Met Goats here with a 1477, 1526. Bloody hell, you guys are cracked. Look at all these 14s. Chill out, guys. Fucking hell. Anyway, Stoners TY, you are topping the league at the moment, which means $10 of the group league budget is yours if you leave a bet in the comments. Or multiple bets, a multi, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you're specific with it. Amazing, that's it. I figured this was a bit better than just going through every game individually because it takes a long time. I'm just trying to give you what's important. Players who've done well, players who've done shit, players in the middle, whatever. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Make sure you join the league. Make sure you leave bets in the comments. We have a $15 budget. I'm just going to make it's a $15 budget every week. If we get a shitload of comments, I'll up it. Simple as that. Righto, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the teams list. There's some big ones there, particularly with the Sea Eagles, so be sure you don't miss that one. Thanks for watching, guys. Hooroo.